No Dogs Allowed. Written by Sonia Manzano and illustrated by John J. Muth. Hi, my name is Iris. I'm 7. There she is. And once, a long while ago, when I was 6, I lived in a place called the Bronx, in the kingdom of 3rd Avenue, in the land of New York City. Sounds like Iris has a big imagination. A big sister named Shorty the fortune teller, who could tell the future by rolling her eyes. A mother named Mommy the busy, because she was always busy doing something. A father named Poppy the clever, who, with the touch of a hand and about 5 or 6 hours, could fix anything. And a dog named El Exigente, because he didn't do a thing. I looked up the word El Exigente and translated it, and it says the demanding. That's what it means in Spanish, is the demanding. He doesn't look very demanding to me. One day, we decided to go to the lake in the Enchanted State Park. We woke up very early. That's how you beat the traffic and get a good picnic table. It was so early, it was still dark outside. It was so early, I had extra trouble waking El Exigente because he's very good at sleeping. He reminds me of Prescott, who is currently doing the same thing right there. My Mommy, the busy, and my Poppy, the clever, got everything ready. Mommy made a little lunch and a little afternoon lunch snack. Then she made a little dinner and a little after-dinner snack. Then she made dessert and a little something for the road in case we got hungry. My Poppy packed, saying, "Only take what you know you'll really need to go on a picnic." My big sister, Shorty the fortune teller, packed a few essentials. And I was packing for El Exigente when my sister yelled, rolling her eyes, "Mom, Iris can't bring that dog, can she? There'll be nothing but trouble if he comes." "There'll be nothing but trouble if he stays," said my Mommy. We lugged our things to the sidewalk and met my cousin Carmen the Beautiful. She brought her traveling beauty parlor. My other cousin, Marta the Smart, she brought a few books. My Aunt Tuta, the happily married, and her brand new husband, Juan. They were so in love, they could only bring each other. Don Joe the grocer, who brought his deli counter. The wise old people, who wisely brought a table, chair, and a box of dominoes so they could finish a game they started 100 years ago when they were young in Puerto Rico. And a few neighbors from the tri-state area. They brought things too. I wonder who gave them all these nicknames. I kind of think it was Iris. I think Iris is pretty imaginative, and she comes up with all these nicknames. Look at all this stuff. All those cars. We loaded our trucks and cars and trailers, and off we went. We never took the highway. Poppy said old roads were better to break down on. Which we did. "I knew we were going to break down," said my big sister, Shorty the fortune teller, rolling her eyes. "That's okay," said my Mommy. "We can have a snack, and it gives me a chance to crochet a nice cloth for the picnic table." And it gives me a chance to rotate the tires after I fix the car, said Poppy cleverly. And I can fix my hair a bit, said Carmen the Beautiful. And I'll have time to finish reading this grim fairy tale, said Marta the Smart. I was just getting to the good part. And I'll be able to make some sandwiches to have before, during, and after we get to the lake, said Don Joe the grocer. And Aunt Tuta the happily married and her brand new husband Juan gazed into each other's eyes and said, "Oh boy, this gives us a chance to spend some more time together before we get to the lake, to spend even more time together." The wise old people didn't say anything, but looked around wisely, set up their table and chairs, and broke out the dominoes. Anybody who wasn't changing a tire looked for a car jack or crawling under their car got busy preparing a snack for anybody who was changing a tire, looking for a car jack, or crawling under their car. Anybody left over got a chance to do whatever they wanted to do. I got a chance to play tug-of-war with El Exigente. He was very good at that. Look at that road. Do you notice anything about it? So I knew exactly where the road map was when my Poppy wanted to check it so we wouldn't get lost once we were on the road again. But we got lost anyway. I knew we were going to get lost, said my big sister Shorty the fortune teller, rolling her eyes. Think of it as an adventure, said Mommy. Besides, it gives us the chance to visit other neighborhoods and practice our English when we ask for directions. Do you see the road? O-O-P-S says, oops. One day, we actually got there. It's a miracle, said my big sister Shorty, the fortune teller. I couldn't wait to do all the things I'd been thinking of, like jumping in the enchanted lake and getting some enchanted sun and eating some enchanted lunch and taking an enchanted nap and building some enchanted sandcastles. How did the illustrator show what Iris was thinking? Yeah, she made it into a little think bubble, and Iris is thinking about all those things she's going to do, and there's her puppy behind her. It's in there. And that's when my big sister's eyes stopped rolling long enough for her to read the enchanted sign that read, "No dogs allowed." Got to be kidding me. Enchanted or otherwise. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. She was hopping mad. I knew this was going to happen. I gulped. My sister was right. El Exigente did cause trouble. This was terrible. What were we going to do? Go home after breaking down and getting lost because El Exigente was a dog? He couldn't help it. He was born that way. Besides, being a dog was what he did best. Why weren't dogs allowed at the lake anyway? I looked at Mommy. My Mommy and Poppy looked at each other. Everyone started talking all at once, in English and in Spanish. Then Poppy said, "Wait a minute, can you all be quiet so we can figure out what to do?" "We'll never figure out what to do," my sister said, rolling her eyes. But everyone was too busy trying to figure out what to do to hear her. Then my Poppy yelled, "Silencio!" at the top of his voice. This means, in case you didn't guess, quiet in Spanish. And then he thought for the longest minute of my life. Finally, he cleverly said, "Look, These packages are heavy. We might as well put them on a nice picnic table until we figure out what to do. And then my mommy got busy saying, it's hot. I might as well mix some coconut pineapple punch and set out the blankets in a nice shady spot until we can figure out what to do. And Carmen the Beautiful said, I might as well put on my swimsuit in case Prince Charming shows up until we figure out what to do. And Marta the Smart said, I might as well go make some fairy tale sandcastles until we figure out what to do. And Don Joe the grocer said, we might as well eat those sandwiches I made until we can figure out what to do. Poor puppy. My Aunt Tuta, the happily married, and her brand new husband Juan had decided to put their heads together and take a walk around the lake to try to figure out what to do. And the wise old people had already wisely sized up the situation and found the perfect tree to play dominoes under until somebody else figured out what to do. Then Poppy the Clever said, we should take turns staying with El Exigente in the parking lot until we figure out what to do. So that day, in the parking lot of the Enchanted State Park, my dog had his fur done by Carmen and read to by Marta, was fed by Don Joe, was babysat by Aunt Tuta and her husband Juan, played dominoes with the wise old people, had his paw read by my sister, and was hugged and kissed by me until we could figure out what to do. And before we knew it, it was dark. My cousin, Marta the Smart, couldn't read anymore. Aunt Tuta and her brand new husband, Juan, were anxious to get home to start becoming an old, happily married couple. Carmen the Beautiful had put rollers back in her hair. Plus, there was nothing left to eat. It was time to leave. How do you think the day turned out for Iris? You think it turned out okay after all, even though no dogs were allowed? And as we drove home, El Exigente and I agreed that my sister Shorty, the fortune teller, was right both times. El Exigente did cause trouble, and we never did figure out what to do. But it didn't matter, because we both felt tired and sleepy and happy and sandy, just like you should feel after spending the day at the Enchanted State Park. The end.